Hey everybody, Dr. LeGrand here, and today we are going to be talking about why your ADHD is not just a dopamine problem. Now, everybody that gets diagnosed with ADHD, we always think it's just dopamine, but there's a lot more to your ADHD than it being just dopamine. In fact, I would say there is probably 50% of the chance that it isn't really even a dopamine problem at all. In fact, it could be a number of other different things, and that's what I'm going to discuss today. So, if you've never been explained about when you're taking ADHD medication, how it does target dopamine is it essentially is blocking the dopamine transporter. So you can see how the dopamine transporter right here that is showing that this specifically blocks that pathway. It's like almost like um, really enabling the capacity to stop the dumping more and more dopamine, because it's good to have a balance between how much dopamine you want to put out and how much that needs to be produced. And when it's blocked, it will stop telling the brain to stop making it, or at least not stop making it, but actually dumping it. So if you think about like kind of like a faucet, when you're turning on the faucet, it doesn't have the capacity to slow down the faucet. And that's in a way like, well, isn't that what you want? You want more dopamine. You don't want too much, because then what happens is the body will start slowing down its production. And we've seen this in research where it can slow it down to where it's only at 80% capacity, where you want it more at 100% capacity over time when you're taking medication. Or there's other cases where when I am running lots of different lab testing and working with patients with ADHD, is sometimes we'll see cases where their dopamine levels are too high. And when you're taking a medication on top of that, that can make things even worse, where you become more agitated, irritated. Or even also in the other cases, you'll see serotonin elevated, you'll see GABA elevated. And so therefore, that's something you definitely do not want to see and happening when you're taking medication. So a lot of times we need to lower the dopamine or GABA or serotonin, these different neurotransmitters that can make your symptoms worse. And that is what is so vital. And this is another reason why it's not just a dopamine problem. Now, in other cases, like this patient, where everything can be low, but it's not just dopamine. You can see, yes, their dopamine levels are low, but they have things like their excitatory neurotransmitter, phenylethylamine that are low, tyrosine, dopamine, norepinephrine, epinephrine, serotonin, glutamate, GABA, glycine, taurine, well, not taurine, but histamine. All those are low. And so if all you focused on was just dopamine, you missed the boat. You missed so many different things that need to be addressed. And this is why so many people struggle with managing their ADHD, because they're missing so many other things that can be contributing to their ADHD and not just being a dopamine problem. Another thing to really also to consider is sometimes it's not even the pathways. Sometimes it's micronutrients that could be contributing to your ADHD symptoms and not being dopamine, because micronutrients are vital. It's key ingredients for helping making a lot of these different neurotransmitter pathways. I mean, not the pathways, but actually making the neurotransmitters like dopamine, serotonin, GABA. And so if these are off, it's hard to modulate and build and make these different neurotransmitters. Things such as like B vitamins, just like this individual, their vitamin B3 levels are low. Their vitamin B6 levels are not the greatest. Their vitamin B5 are low. Even D3, which is also very important too for the neurotransmitter pathways. Also K1, K2, those levels are low, and that can contribute to cardiovascular health issues. Now, some other things that also to keep in mind about that I do see creep up a lot, especially people who are 40 and above, is choline and also serine levels, just like this individual had. Oh, now I'm back. Okay. And then where was I? Yeah, so serine levels right here. Okay. Now, why is this important? Why does this contribute to ADHD not being per se a dopamine problem? It's because both serine and choline contribute to memory. So when we see those low, people tend to have memory issues, and people with ADHD tend to have memory issues, especially short-term memory issues. So we always want to catch that, especially early on, to prevent things like dementia, Alzheimer's disease, which is more prone to people with ADHD. Now, some other things to also keep in mind about this is there can also be other things such as like EPA, DGA levels can be low. These are omega-3s, and this can contribute to causing other ADHD symptoms. So those are some other aspects. There's more. There's way more here. So another thing to also keep in mind is if you're someone that's dealing with gassing, bloating, indigestion, heartburn, all that kind of things that could be happening on a daily basis. This could be causing some other ADHD symptoms. Let me explain why. If this is not working so great, it's very hard to build and modulate different neurotransmitters because 90 to 95% of our neurotransmitters are made in the gut. And if that is not working great, then we're going to run into some issues. And so if we don't address the digestive stuff and then we're just focusing on just the brain chemical stuff, then we're missing the whole boat as well. Even the liver is a very vital organ because it does a lot. It's not only is it a main detoxifying organ, it also deals with gluconeogenesis, so balancing our blood sugar levels, deals with iron, also deals a lot with hormones, and that can impact our ADHD brain. So if this is not working optimally, you're also going to have similar ADHD symptoms that you maybe are not even addressing at all. You might only be taking medication, but you're missing all these other vital organs that can contribute to your ADHD symptoms. Some other really big ones to also really keep in mind about, you've heard me probably talk about this a lot, is your adrenals. The adrenals that sit right above the kidneys produce a lot of different hormones: cortisol, epinephrine, norepinephrine, all these things that manage our stress and our energy. And if it's insufficient, just like this individual where it's really low, it's hard to function throughout the day. It's hard to have energy. It's hard to have focus throughout the day. It can impact that significantly. Or on the opposite side, it could be spiked where your cortisol levels are too high. Then you feel more agitated, stressed. And this will also impact your sleep. And if it impacts your sleep, it's going to impact your ADHD symptoms. You're not going to be able focused or motivated throughout the day. This is why it's so important to look at everything and not just looking at just the brain, not just looking at just dopamine and thinking it's just a dopamine problem. It is so much more than that. On top of that, there's other hormones, right? So typically, when we're looking at, especially adults, and we're looking at hormones, especially like for males, if we see testosterone or DHEA levels are low, just like this individual was, it also can happen with women where their testosterone levels are too low, and this will impact energy, focus, and your mood. Or it could be a progesterone estradiol situation where they're low, just like this individual. Now, another really big one to also consider is what I do find is people with ADHD tend to have thyroid issues. They're more prone to it, especially women with ADHD are going to have more of a significant higher chance of having a thyroid issue. And it's something that cannot be ignored because thyroid issues definitely can show up very similar to ADHD symptoms. So if you have both ADHD and thyroid and you're not addressing your thyroid situation, it's like you're having double the symptoms, if not triple or quadruple the symptoms. And you're only focusing on your ADHD. It's like you should be also managing your thyroid. Same goes with all the different organs I was just telling you about that need to be addressed. And so you might have gone saying, okay, my TSH levels are fine. That is not enough because TSH is really just something that the brain releases. It's not enough to rule in or rule out a thyroid situation. You really need to look at free T3 and also free T4 and also anti-TPO levels, because those, in my opinion, will help us understand if there truly is a thyroid problem. But also, thyroid is converted also like in the liver, some parts of the digestion, and also our heart. And if those are not working optimally, it's why it causes peripheral thyroid issues. And so you want to make sure those are working optimally, because if you can get those managed better, guess what? Your ADHD is going to be able to be managed better. But it really requires to understand truly what's going on with you specifically, your body chemistry. So if you'd like to find out this information for your own ADHD and your own ADHD health, I'd love to help you out. But what it requires is investigative work to understand what is truly going on with your body chemistry, all the different organs that could be contributing to your ADHD situation. It's not just a dopamine problem, but it's more than that, as you have just learned. And so I'd love to help you out. And what I offer is a focused mindset strategy session. This is the very first step to working with me to be able to understand truly what is wrong with your own body chemistry. What are the imbalances? What is the root cause that's causing the ADHD symptoms that you're experiencing? And so what I'm offering is this focused mindset strategy session. It's a one-on-one with me, 45 minutes strategy session with me. Normally it's a $750 value, and then also if you do purchase, you also get our access to our nutrition lifestyle tracking app that I use with all my patients and clients to track their symptoms with their sleep, with their blood sugar levels, high blood pressure, their nutrition, all these different things that are really important to identify all the different things that can be contributing to your ADHD. I also, if you do purchase, say, you get access to my ADHD health course. That's when I used to sell these at it retailed at $597, and so you get all that. It's more than $1,000 value, and you get that all for just $297. So if you are interested and want to finally tackle your ADHD and find the root cause, the first step is actually booking that consultation with me so I can actually identify and look at what is going on in your body chemistry, what are the root causes, and help you identify what labs we need to do, and then putting an action plan together. So all you got to do is click on the link in the description below. Once you click on that link, you'll come right here to book the consultation, and then you will come here, purchase. And once you've done that, this is really, really important. Please do not forget this. Once you purchase, it'll take you to this page. You still have to book your appointment with me. You still got to book a date and time. So you'll book that there. You'll pick a date and time. If for some reason, if I'm booked out too far, I do have health practitioners that also have times as well. But if you want to see me directly, make sure to select my name, Dr. LeGrand, and then fill out your information real quick. It's real simple to do this. And then you'll come to this page. And this is really, really important. Make sure to activate your Practice Better account and confirm your email. So you need to activate your Practice Better account to get access to the nutrition and lifestyle tracking app. Also, to fill out the client questionnaire before our appointment. I need to see that before. This helps me determine what labs we need to do, and that's what we discuss in the consultation, but I need to see that beforehand. This helps me identify and putting an action plan together and identify more of the root causes that your ADHD symptoms are coming from. So, and then of course, make sure to come prepared, have the Zoom app ready to go. Make sure to block out 45 minutes to an hour. Sometimes we go an hour if we need to, depending on what questions you have. And do please show up early. I do give you a 10-minute grace period. Otherwise, I have to mark it as a no-show. And then if you do have a significant other or spouse, I do require that spouse is there because this helps me understand the outside perspective of your challenges with your ADHD, especially within your relationship. I do like to understand that other point of view as well. So I do require that they're there, and that helps me kind of see more of the challenges with your ADHD. So if you really want to tackle your ADHD, this is the opportunity. The first step is booking that consultation with me. Look forward to working with you and seeing you on the inside. Thanks. Bye.